Have you ever wondered how someone can go from nothing to a billionaire, shaping world events along the way? Today we're diving into the incredible life of George Soros, a story of survival, ambition, and mind-bending financial bets. Our story begins in 1930 in Budapest, Hungary. A young boy named George Soros is born into a well-off Jewish family. His father, Tivadar, was a remarkable man, an Esperanto enthusiast, and a former prisoner of war who had escaped from Siberia. He taught his son the art of survival, a lesson that would soon become terrifyingly real. As the 1940s dawned, the shadow of Nazism fell over Europe. When Germany occupied Hungary in 1944, 14-year-old Georgi and his family faced mortal danger. Tivadar, using his wits and courage, secured false identity papers for his family. He changed their last name to Soros, a Hungarian name meaning to soar. To survive, the family had to split up. Young George posed as the Christian godson of a Hungarian official, even helping to deliver deportation notices. He later described this time not with guilt, but as a raw, formative experience in understanding the mechanics of power and survival. He witnessed firsthand how quickly society could crumble, and how essential it was to think ahead and adapt. After the war, a new threat emerged: Soviet communism. The freedoms George craved were once again suppressed. At just 17 years old, he knew he had to leave. In 1947, he escaped Hungary and made his way to London. Life there was tough. He was an impoverished immigrant student, working odd jobs as a railway porter and a nightclub waiter to support himself while studying at the prestigious London School of Economics. It was here that he encountered the man who would change his life, the philosopher Karl Popper. Popper's ideas, especially his theory of reflexivity, captivated Soros. The theory suggests that people's biases and beliefs can actively influence market prices and the economy, creating a feedback loop. It's not just that markets reflect reality. They also create it. This concept became the intellectual cornerstone of Soros's entire investment philosophy. He wasn't just a trader. He was a philosopher in the financial markets. Armed with this powerful idea, Soros graduated and looked for a way to apply it. He found the London financial world to be rigid and unaccommodating. So in 1956, he took another leap of faith and moved to New York City with just $5,000 in his pocket. He started as an arbitrage trader on Wall Street, analyzing European securities. For over a decade, he honed his skills, but he was still just an employee dreaming of more. His big break came in 1969. He used his savings and some investor capital to launch his first hedge fund, initially called First Eagle, which later became the Quantum Fund. This was his laboratory, the place where he could finally test his reflexivity theory on a grand scale. He wasn't just buying low and selling high. He was making huge leveraged bets on macroeconomic trends, anticipating how governments and central banks would react to economic events, and how that reaction would, in turn, shape the market. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, the Quantum Fund delivered astonishing returns, often exceeding 30% annually. Soros developed a reputation as a financial wizard, a master of the global markets. He was known for his intense, almost painful decision-making process. He famously described how he would feel physical back pain when he knew a position in his portfolio was wrong, a visceral signal to cut his losses. He understood that being a successful investor wasn't just about being right. It was about knowing how to handle being wrong. Then came the day that cemented his legend, September 16, 1992, a day now known as Black Wednesday. Soros believed the British pound was artificially overvalued within the European exchange rate mechanism. He saw a flaw in the system. The UK government was committed to keeping the pound strong, but the economic reality suggested it should be weaker. Applying his reflexivity theory, he predicted the Bank of England would eventually be forced to devalue. So he took a massive short position against the pound, betting more than $10 billion that its value would fall. The Bank of England tried to fight back, buying up pounds and raising interest rates, but the market pressure, led by Soros, was relentless. By the end of the day, the UK government capitulated, withdrew the pound from the system, and its value plummeted. In a single day, George Soros made a profit of over $1 billion. He became known as the man who broke the Bank of England. This event made him a global icon, but it also brought controversy. Some hailed him as a genius who exposed a flawed system. Others condemned him as a ruthless speculator who profited from a nation's economic turmoil. But as his wealth grew, so did another side of his ambition. Having experienced both Nazi and Soviet totalitarianism, Soros became a passionate advocate for what he called the open society, a world built on democracy, human rights, and critical thinking, inspired by his mentor Karl Popper. In 1984, he founded the Open Society Foundations. His first major act of philanthropy was in his home country, Hungary, where he supported the anti-communist opposition by funding education and providing photocopiers to help spread independent information. As the Berlin Wall fell and the Soviet Union crumbled, his foundations became instrumental in supporting the transition to democracy across Eastern and Central Europe. He poured billions of his personal fortune into this cause, supporting everything from free media and civil rights groups to public health initiatives and educational reform in more than 120 countries. His philanthropy was as audacious and unconventional as his trading. He wasn't just writing checks. He was trying to re-engineer societies to foster the critical spirit he believed was essential for freedom. Of course, this made him a target. His financial actions and his political philanthropy have made him a lightning rod for criticism from all sides. He's been accused of orchestrating financial crises and meddling in the politics of sovereign nations. He has become a central figure in countless conspiracy theories, often portrayed as a puppet master pulling the world's strings. Yet, Soros has never shied away from the spotlight or the controversy. He continues to write books, give speeches, and use his fortune to influence public debate on issues ranging from financial regulation to drug policy and climate change. From a boy hiding from Nazis in Budapest to a student philosopher in London, from a Wall Street trader to the billionaire who broke the Bank of England, and finally, to one of the world's most influential and controversial philanthropists, the life of George Soros is a testament to a restless intellect and an iron will. It's a story that forces us to ask big questions about the power of ideas, the role of finance in our world, and the responsibility that comes with unimaginable wealth. His journey from zero to billionaire wasn't just about making money. It was about using survival instincts, a unique philosophy, and immense capital to try and shape the world itself.